My parents and sister kept hinting, "There's a surprise coming, just be patient." But when my wedding day arrived, none of my family was there. Instead, I received a video of them gallivanting through Europe, paired with a message claiming I wouldn't be upset by their absence. I didn't reach out to them afterward, but after sharing photos with my in-laws, my phone was flooded with 290 calls. I started seeing posts from my family members who skipped my wedding, boasting about how refreshing it was to avoid the stress of my big day. My relationship with my family has always been strained. One day, when I walked into our family home, the lively chatter in the living room came to an abrupt halt. My brother Benjamin and his wife Camila shared a knowing look, while my mother, Diana, forced a tight smile. "Oh, Eliza, you're here early," she remarked. "Done with work already?" I sighed softly. "Yes, I finished early and thought I'd join you for dinner." My father, Victor, let out a dismissive grunt from behind his newspaper. "A miracle. Our lawyer has torn herself away from her legal tomes." Before I could respond, Benjamin cut in. "Eliza, tell us about your morning meeting. Sue another company yet?" He turned to Camila, adding, "Eliza's all about numbers. She's got a knack for killing the vibe at gatherings." Camila chuckled. "Oh, right, like at the last holiday party when she droned on about contract clauses. Half the guests slipped out. I tried to defend myself but gave up. Conversations with my family always went this way." At dinner, Benjamin's kids raced around, Camila bubbled about summer vacation plans, and my parents nodded along. Even when I steered clear of work topics to join in, the table fell silent. "Eliza's always so serious," Camila piped up. "You should loosen up, life's not just work." Benjamin gestured at his kids. "See, kids, don't grow up like your aunt, always work, work, work. She's forgotten how to smile." The kids giggled and I stared at my water glass. They didn't acknowledge that I'd been covering their living expenses, despite paying my way through law school and building my career. To them, I was just the dull, overly serious eldest daughter. As I left that night, my father called out, "By the way, about Benjamin's birthday party next month, you'll chip in, right?" I nodded quietly. My worth to them seemed tied to my bank account. Everything changed dramatically 2 months ago. My father started acting oddly whenever my wedding came up. Not in a negative way, but secretively. He'd whisper on phone calls or snap his laptop shut when I entered his office. Camila would smirk and say, "Eliza, you're going to love what we've got planned for your big day." Even Benjamin, usually buried in his investment banking, dropped cryptic hints. I'll admit it sparked excitement. Weddings are milestones, aren't they? My family wasn't rich and I was self-sufficient, so I didn't expect extravagance. Their secrecy made me think they were organizing a special bridal shower or rehearsal dinner. My father brushed off my questions, telling me to wait. I was genuinely surprised they cared about my marriage. "I'm hosting a family dinner to introduce my fiancé. I told my dad over the phone a month ago. You have to come." "Of course, Eliza," he replied. "I'll be there if work wraps up early." But on the day of the dinner, he texted, "Sorry, forgot about a golf game with Bob. See you at the wedding." I sighed, typical. My father always put work or hobbies above my milestones, so the dinner with my fiancé was canceled. On my wedding day, the venue was empty of my family. No mom, dad, Benjamin, Camila, Adrian, or Sophia. I stood in my gown, clutching my bouquet, staring at the vacant rows. Panicked, I thought something might have happened and called my father. No answer. My mother's phone did the same. Texts to Benjamin and Camila went unread. My groom James squeezed my hand, his steady gaze calming me. "Eliza, don't worry. Something must have come up. They wouldn't skip this on purpose," he said. James looked sharp in his tailored suit, his smile just for me. His parents were worried, but James was resolute. We went ahead with the ceremony, my family's absence heavy. I said I do before empty seats, James's firm grip and loving eyes reminding me I was enough. The wedding proceeded beautifully, but I couldn't stop worrying about my family. Back home with James, I checked my rarely used Instagram, where I follow my family to keep up with their lives. There it was, posted 3 hours earlier. A photo of my entire family, Dad, Benjamin, Camila, Mom, Adrian, Sophia, grinning in front of a grand French chateau, wine glasses raised. Benjamin's caption read, "The perfect family vacation without her." The comments stung. Dad wrote, she's too busy anyway. With a laughing emoji, Camila chimed in about career-driven women ignoring family traditions. Mom added, "It's wonderful to escape her wedding stress," looking carefree in designer sunglasses. James held me as we scrolled through the post, his anger palpable. "I can't believe they do this," he said. "This shows how little they value you, Eliza. But I'm different. You're everything to me." He stroked my hair as my hand shook around a glass. "No one has the right to hurt you. You're incredible, and I'm lucky to see what they're too blind to." His words soothed, but the betrayal lingered. I scrolled through more posts, vineyard tours, river cruises, family portraits, all time-stamped and geotagged to a chateau I'd never heard of, starting 2 days before my wedding. Shock, rage, or maybe eerie calm took over. I didn't call, text, or comment. Just poured more champagne with trembling hands and started plotting. James brought hot chocolate and sat beside me. As a company executive, he advised, "In situations like this, act on facts, not emotions. You're a brilliant lawyer, you get this. We need to document everything legally." He opened his tablet, accessing the company's internal system. "I shouldn't show you this," he said, "but here's your father's activity record. His decisions have hurt the company." Then I realized James wasn't just an executive, he was at the top. The data he accessed wasn't available to mid-level staff. "James, are you?" He smiled. "I was recently promoted to CEO, not yet announced. But more importantly, we're protecting you. I won't let them treat you like this." His resolve strengthened me. I checked my bank account, confirming a $400 transfer to my father's account the previous Friday. Scrolling through older posts, I saw Mom's comments about a special family retreat weeks earlier. This wasn't spontaneous. It was planned, deliberately excluding me despite my wedding. By midnight, my pain turned to fierce determination. I opened my laptop, compiling evidence, screenshots of posts, bank transfers, a timeline of their lies about wedding surprises. Tears burned my eyes, not from sadness but anger. "What now?" I asked James. "First, we secure you legally," he said. "Then we confront them with the truth. But for now, rest. Tomorrow's a big day." He guided me to bed, his arm around me. 3 days later, my family started messaging. Dad asked if I was upset. Camila called twice. Benjamin texted. "Dad's worried, can you respond?" I ignored them. Instead, I posted my first Instagram photo in months. Me in my apartment with wedding decorations I'd chosen. No caption, just a timestamp. That's when the deluge hit. At 9:44 p.m. my phone erupted, 290 messages across texts, WhatsApp, Instagram, emails, voicemails. Dad's final voicemail said, "We're back tomorrow. We need to talk." James watched me concerned. He'd already acted. The day after our wedding, I overheard him on a call, his tone firm. "Yes, Victor, the decision stands. From Monday, you're transferred to the regional branch. Your future depends on performance." I bolted from bed, hearing my father's name. James nodded at me, continuing, "This isn't personal. It's about performance and ethics violations. Your department missed targets for 3 quarters, and there've been code of conduct breaches." On speaker, my father shouted, "You don't have the authority. I've been here 20 years. James replied coolly, "I've been CEO for 3 months. All personnel decisions are mine." After a pause, my father's tone shifted to fear. "Wait, James, a misunderstanding." James cut him off. "You skipped a family wedding for a European vacation. Our company values family, you failed that." My father sounded confused. "Wedding? What wedding?" James glanced at me, softening. "Eliza's wedding. Your daughter's." A crash came from the phone, then my mother's voice. "Victor, what's this about Eliza's wedding?" I spoke up. "I sent invitations 3 months ago. I called Mom to confirm, but you were busy." My father stammered. "Eliza, listen, we didn't know your fiancé was James, my boss." "You canceled my wedding," I said coldly. "You didn't care about my life's biggest moment." James hung up, saying, "Victor, I expect your report Monday." He held me as I buried my face in my knees. "I didn't think your father wouldn't recognize me," James said. "He met me in board meetings. He never cared about you, Eliza." His words cut deep. My father didn't even know my fiancé's face. 3 hours later, 290 desperate messages poured in. They'd realized my importance because James, my husband, controlled their livelihood. "What will you do?" James asked, stroking my shoulder. "Ignore them," I said firmly. "Like they ignored my wedding." James kissed me, smiling. I'd been a side character in my family's story, but now with James I was the protagonist, ready for a new life. That evening we planned my legal protection. I called my bank, revoking my family's access to my accounts. At midnight I found an email chain between Dad and Benjamin from 2 weeks earlier. Dad: "Should we tell Eliza about France?" Benjamin: "Why?" "She's too focused on her wedding." Dad: "True, lol. She's all about legal stuff." Benjamin: "She won't notice we're gone till after." Dad: "You're right, lol." That email shattered my last hope of a misunderstanding. When they returned, I waited in my apartment. James had work but promised to join later. At 4:32 p.m., I heard suitcases in the elevator. The intercom buzzed and I opened the door to jet-lagged, fake smiling faces. My father clutched a clearly last-minute gift bag. "Eliza," he said brightly, "why didn't you answer?" "I needed to talk about my job." I stared coldly. My mother looked guilty, Camila avoided my eyes, and Benjamin clung to his arrogance. As tension built, James arrived, his suit impeccable, his expression stern. "Victor," he said. My father paled. "James, is it true? You're with Eliza." James put his arm around me. "I'm Eliza's husband. The wedding was 4 days ago. You were invited but chose France." My father stammered. "Eliza, he's the CEO?" "Yes," I said. "But you picked a trip over my wedding. And now you're upset about James demoting you." Benjamin stepped in. "We didn't know your fiancé was Dad's boss." "That's a lie," I snapped. "James's promotion was in company emails. You know nothing about my life because you don't care." My father's voice shook. "Eliza, we're family. Family helps each other." James said. "Someone who doesn't value family can't claim it." Silence fell. My father's shoulders sagged, my mother sobbed, and Benjamin looked defeated. "I notified you in France," James continued. "Employees who don't prioritize family aren't needed. You're demoted to a rural branch." Camila whispered. "We didn't know." My father said. "We have to go." James softened. "Leave. Eliza's been hurt enough." The gift bag fell, contents spilling, as my mother pulled my father to the elevator. Benjamin pleaded. "Eliza, can we talk?" "Get out," I said. They shuffled into the elevator, my father's face devastated, my mother in tears, Benjamin supporting a sobbing Camila. James hugged me. "You okay?" "I'm fine," I said. "I'm no longer invisible." Watching them leave in a taxi, my father looked broken, not arrogant. I felt free. A month later, James and I discussed my father's situation over coffee. His performance report was grim. He lasted 2 weeks at the regional branch, late daily, even dozing in meetings. He'd resigned. "Do you regret it?" James asked. "No," I said. "They made their choices. I made mine." As we prepared for work, my mother called. On speaker, her voice was weak. "Eliza, your father quit. We're struggling mortgage credit card debt. Can you help?" James nodded, leaving it to me. "How much?" I asked. $3,000 this month, she said. "Temporary. Your father will find work." I nearly laughed. $3,000, the cost of their French hotel. "Why do you need it?" "Mortgage." "The real reason," I cut in. After a pause, she sighed. "Your father's contacting a competitor to sell James's company secrets. We need a lawyer." James's face hardened, noting to contact legal. "You just admitted to conspiracy and espionage," I said. "This call's recorded." My mother gasped. "How could you record family?" "Ironic," I said. "Coming from a family that ditched my wedding." That evening on our penthouse balcony, James held me. "Will they stop?" I asked. "They've got nothing left," he said. "That's dangerous." 2 days later, my father called, eerily calm. "Eliza, I need help. Temporary. I'll repay." On speaker, James and I listened. "How much?" $5,000, he said. "As family, it's natural, right?" James shook his head. "Dad, Do you know how risky your gamble is? I asked. He shouted. James took everything, my job, my dignity, my daughter. He deserves punishment. You're self-centered, I said. I'm not a possession. I chose James because he's kind, honest, respects me. Things you never did. Silence, then the call dropped. The next morning, news broke. My father was arrested for compliance violations and attempting to sell trade secrets. My mother and Camila were distraught. What should I have done? I asked James. These were their choices, not your burden, he said, touching my cheek. That afternoon, I filed a restraining order against my parents, Benjamin and Camila. I couldn't let them ruin my life. In my final email I wrote, "You forgot me. Now I forget you." 6 months later, James and I bought a lake house, far from the city's chaos. James restructured the company, and I became chief legal officer. Court documents were my only tie to my old family. Adrian and Sophia's demands vanished. I was free. James and I built a new family where I was seen. Nightly we sipped wine, planning our future. Monthly dinners with James's parents filled me with dreams of our own family. His words, "You're my everything, Eliza," gave me a security I'd never known.